Right, hello everyone, it is UTS100K race week, so I thought in this video I would share the kit and clothing that I've been testing out in training and also just explain a little bit about why I've gone for the items that I'm going to talk about here. So this is the mandatory kit list for the UTS100K, much longer mandatory kit list than for any other race I've done before, but of course this is my first mountain race, so in the mountains weather is much more changeable, you've got to be prepared for all eventualities. It's got two sides to it, so clothing on this side and then equipment on this side, so I'll talk about both sides, and if you've got any questions on any of the kit that I raise here, then do let me know in the comments below. Okay, so first item is the suitable trail running footwear, and really key in any ultra, you know, having good footwear. The option I've gone for is actually this, the Hoka Speedgoat 5. I've kind of come full circle here because this was the shoe that I did my only recce of the UTS 100K route in last summer. And I after that experimented with another shoe in my training, which was the Saucony Exodus Ultra, which in the end I found was a little bit narrower than I would like for longer distance, as my foot is quite wide, and of course it would swell in longer distance too, and maybe lacked a bit of cushioning. You feel quite connected to the trail in it, but maybe a little too connected when it comes to the later stages of quite a rocky ultra. So didn't go for that in the end. I also did a test run in this where I was out for 7 hours and got a bit of a heel blister on the back. So in the end I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to what I'm familiar with, what is most comfortable, and also what has a bit more cushioning and still some fairly decent lugs for grip. So that's why I've gone for the Hoka Speedgoat 5 in the end. Thing number two is a waterproof jacket, and this is actually the one that I'm going for. It's the one I'm wearing. It says on here it has to have taped seams, and also it has to have a waterproof rating of 10,000 millimeters. So this one has a 20,000 millimeter rating, which should be good even if there's long showers. This will keep out the water for a good while. And also it's got a good breathability rating as well of 20,000. And often in ultras, there's a minimum requirement for waterproof layers to have a 10,000 millimeter minimum, but this more than meets that, and it's nice and breathable. There is just one design flaw that I found with this jacket, and it doesn't mean that it's not the jacket I want to take along, because of course I'm still taking it, but it does limit it slightly, and that is, what would be good is if they had some elastic round the hood so you could tighten it up and it would grip your face, because actually at the moment the only way to keep the hood up in really rainy weather is to do the zip up fully. So you have to do it all the way up to the top, which of course in some races you'd want to have grip around the hood so it keeps the hood up, but also to have this down a little bit so you can get some more air in. So that's the only issue that I found, but in the end it's not a deal breaker. Just if the jacket could have that as well, it would probably be a perfect jacket. But one of those things, and it's still a good jacket, so I'm going to take it along for the day. Warm second layer is the next thing. So this is the warm second layer I'm going to be taking along my pack. On the kit list it says it needs to be a minimum of 180 grams. This is about 190, so works well. Nothing particularly fancy here. So it's made by Caramore. I picked it up in a camping shop. But it is a running specific layer, and it dries quite nicely, pretty breathable, so that I'm going to go for as my backup layer. Long-legged trousers for the next one. Again, nothing too fancy here. These are from Decathlon, so it is Decathlon's own brand, Kalenji, I think is how you pronounce it, but I've used those a good few times. They're fairly breathable, they dry out quite quickly, so those I'll be using. And then waterproof over trousers is the next one. These are the ones that I've gone for. So sticking with the Innovate theme on the bottom layer as well, my bottom waterproof layer. These are just really, really lightweight, and they can also pack down really, really small. So if it gets pretty rainy out there, then I'll be able to whip them out, put them on, and if I don't end up using them, then they, of course, don't take up too much space. So win-win for that one. So yeah, those I'll be taking along too. Next on the list is warm and waterproof gloves. And again, actually, we're sticking with Innovate, quite a few Innovate things for my kit that I'm taking along. And these ones are really handy because you've got a warm glove, and then you've also got attached to it by this a waterproof mitt that goes over the top. So I'll just pop this on so you can see what this is like in case you haven't come across these before. So you've got your warm glove there, and then over the top you can put the waterproof mitt on it. And actually, if you're not using the waterproof mitt, then you can stow it in this little pocket just there. So that is really, really neat, because it means you don't lose it as well. Because, you know, often if you lose one glove, that can be really infuriating. I imagine particularly if you're in like a blizzard or a snowstorm. So yeah, to be able to just have it in the back there and to be able to whip it out, put it on if you need it, then really, really handy. So those are the gloves that I'm going for. And then we've got a warm, a bit tight actually, hard to get off. Then we've got a warm beanie hat for the next thing. So this is one I got from a race from Multisport Management. Thanks for that, Graham. But that will be taken along, nice and bright too, so in case, you know, you want to be visible up on the mountains. And then finally a cap, bandana or buff. I was going to go for this one, so I often wear this runner hat, but actually the thing that I'm going to go for now, the hat I've chosen, is this one, because the weather looks like it could be quite hot. So I'm going full desert hat for this one, full Marathon des Sables style. Which might look like slight overkill over in the Welsh mountains, but that I'm going to go for. So this is by Raidlight, and I've used it in a couple of races before. I used it when the South Downs Way 100 got really hot last year. But, you know, if we have hotter weather, then I've got that, and I can also just stow away the flap at the back if I want to, and just use it as a normal baseball cap. So that's all of the clothing side of the mandatory kit list. On the other side, UTS lists the equipment that you have to take along. And the first thing listed on there is the running pack. The one that I've gone for is the Harrier Kinder 10 litre. This for me as well, tried and tested in races. And it's really good because it doesn't bounce up and down. So you can fit it nicely around your body shape. And it's also got some good zip pockets on the sides of this as well. I love a good zip pocket to keep things nice and safe in there. You don't want to lose any snacks. And it has actually been repaired. So on the back you might notice this part here with the thread. That was because during one race I was getting really frustrated. I couldn't find the snack that I wanted, and I was kind of pulling the vest around and ended up breaking it, but now it's sewn up, and so should do me well for the UTS100K. And then next we've got a smartphone. So one of the things that UTS says, you have to have your smartphone, which I'm filming on at the moment, so I'll take that along. And you've got to have the Live Trail app on it, so it must be installed and activated. So I'll be using that. Reusable cup for the next thing. I've gone for a bit of an eco option here. Whereabouts is it in my stack of things? Let's have a look.
3 hours later.
Whereabouts is it? Right, here it is. I found it. This is basically just a carton. This I got as an idea from Darren from the Green Runners, but he basically just says, yeah, you can make your own cup by just cutting off the bottom of a carton, and then it folds up nice and neat as well, just like that. So yeah, that will be taken along as my cup to use at aid stations. And then I'm also going with a recycled option for my plate, which is this here, which is just something that had a couple of avocados in. So I'll be using that as my plate. Again, you can fold it up and it squashes down like nice and flat. So I'll take that along. And somewhere I've got a plastic spoon. I can't find where that is at the moment, but it is somewhere in this heap. So I'll be taking that along too. Capacity to carry a minimum of 1.5 litres. So for this, I'll be taking along 2 of my Harrier flasks. They'll go in my Harrier vest with the long straws, which is handy. You don't have to bend down in order to drink, or you don't have to take your bottles out of your vest. So I'll be taking 2 of those along. Probably one will have tailwind in, and then the other one will have water in. And then the other 500 mils will be made up from this, which I'll have in the back of my pack. Again, just there in case I need to have any extra fluid. I may not need to use it, but it'll be there, and it folds up nice and small. So that is for my fluid. And then I'm going to have 2 head torches, which is mentioned on the mandatory kit list. So I've gone here for the Petzl Tika, which I've used in several races before. Nice and lightweight. It's got a rechargeable battery in it. The other one is made by Phoenix, which is this one. So I'm also going to take this along. I'll probably use the Petzl first because that's the one that I'm used to wearing. But I've got the Phoenix there as a backup. And then you also have to take along spare batteries for both of them. So here I've got 6 AAA batteries, which would cover both of the head torches there. Survival emergency bivvy bag is the next thing, which is this I've got from Harrier. Nice and lightweight, nice and small. So that will be in my pack. Hopefully won't have to use it, but it's there if I need it. Emergency food reserve, I'm probably going to take some biscuits in a small packet because they're very, very lightweight, so don't add too much weight to your pack. And then also some extra Velo Forte chews, which I'll be eating on the day anyway, so I really like Velo Forte stuff. I've got their chews, I've got some of their gels. And then the other thing that is mentioned here, whistle, which I've talked about before, that's in my pack. Self-adhesive elasticated bandage, so I've taken that out of my Harrier first aid kit. So I'll be taking a few items from this and putting it into the bivvy bag. So I've got kind of a full emergency kit here. And then the final couple of things you've got to take along, a personal ID, so I'll probably be taking my driving license there, and then also a map of the route which they give you at the start of the UTS100K. So just a couple of other items that I wanted to mention. One which is a bit of a hack that I've used in past races, and that is these little pots. These I got from Superdrug. I think you can get them from any pharmacy, but they're very, very lightweight, very small. And in one pot I have anti-chafe, and then in the other pot I've got sun cream. So those I'll be taking along. I have a couple in my drop bag as well at the halfway point. And also, in fact, this is not on the mandatory kit list, but the other thing that I'll be taking along is my poles. So these are the Harrier Helvellyn Carbon Pro, really good poles. I've used them a lot in training. I've aimed to use them at least once a week to get used to them. But yeah, those will also be coming along with me, and I'll be storing them in this here, which is a race belt that I got from Decathlon. It's got a waterproof pocket to store your phone in, and then crucially on the back it's got these two elasticated bits where my poles will sit, so they'll just sit like on the small of my back, basically just there, and then I can whip them out, take them there if I need to, and then just put them away whenever I'm not using them, so when I'm maybe going downhill or along a flat. So those are all of the bits of kit, well, most of the bits of kit. There are some other bits here and there, but I won't go through all of them. But those are most of the bits of kit that I'm planning on taking along. If you've got any questions, as I said, on any of the kit that I've mentioned, then do pop them in the comments below. And if you're doing the race this week, then best of luck, enjoy it out there. I may well see you on the start line. So yeah, have a good week, everyone. Enjoy your running, and I'll see you all in the next one.